You ever get an idea in the wee hours of the night where you just wake up in a blinding flash and you're like, oh my god, this idea is fantastic. How do I get this to work? And then you run to your computer, you put that subsume on that frame, you run to your simulacrum, and then it doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's what these builds are. So I've done this a lot, in fact. I have a good 24 of these that I'm like, oh my god, the interaction could work with this ability, and then it will cascade and do this ability, and then it'll explode and cause all of these damage, and then it never works because it doesn't work originally how you would think it would work. So that's what we're going into today. The first one we're going to talk about is actually an Excalibur build, and it's a very interesting Excalibur build because the idea was to abuse finishers to be able to do an area of effect and kill enemies, similar to the way that the Obex Incarnate does it now, but except it was using the Rumblejack. The idea was that the Rumblejack on finisher has a forced electricity proc. Well, with melee influence active, I figured that the melee influence would trigger off of that forced proc. Then on Excalibur, I would run Savage Silence with the Silence Subsume, as well as Furious Javelin and Radiant Finish for the additional melee damage and more finisher damage. Then you would run up, your Radiant Finish would trigger the ability for you to open enemies to finishers. You would finish an enemy and it should explode in melee influence. Except the electricity proc from the finisher doesn't get any benefit from the finisher damage or from the melee damage from Furious Javelin. So it didn't do anything. Just gotta, you just hit a guy real fucking hard. Cause this build genuinely, like, it's 192% strength, but it runs so much finisher damage and it has so much additional melee damage because of Furious Javelin that it quite literally hits the guy for damage cap. But it doesn't kill anything, unfortunately, and it kills the main target, but that's it. So if you're gonna use this build, just use it on the Obex Incarnate. It's the same thing, but it's smaller AoE, and I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't work. But it was a really fun test when I did it, and yeah, if you want like a real build, just do something that's I don't know. I mean, like I said, you could use Savage Silence anyways with Radiant Finish, and just use the Obex Incarnate. That would work much better than this weird influence Rumblejack thing that I had as an idea. This next one I was really excited about because when we were talking about Jade Stars for such a long time, in the, like right at the beginning when it came out, but we were trying it on literally every single frame. We tried it every single frame that we could possibly find. There's a couple that it didn't work on, but it mostly worked on everything. So I was really excited about this one, and I decided, somebody asked me, and then I decided to put it on Trinity in the hopes that Link and the damage that you would take during Link and Reflect would trigger Jade Stars. In the case that it would eventually be like this infinite scaling reflect nuke. So when I put it on, I went in, and at first I thought it was triggering, and we went into the simulacrum, and I was like, oh god, look at that, it is working. And then I went into a regular mission, and then I saw it trigger a couple times, and I was like, why is it not working? It's like, it's not working as consistently as I was hoping for. It doesn't trigger off of Link. It was triggering off of something entirely different. I don't even know what it was, but it was triggering, but not on Link. So it was kind of neat as an idea, but it doesn't seem like reflections work at all on Jade Stars. So it was a really, man, it's so frustrating because it was such a cool idea. Imagine you like walk into a room, enemies shoot you, and you just reflect some of the damage that they deal, and then also a Jade Star, and then they just suddenly are fully armor stripped and have a heat dot. It sounds so cool to me. I don't know. Oh man. Anyways, if you just want to play a Trinity build, I heavily suggest just doing a gun build, replacing her one, or replacing, I don't know, depending on if you want to use a bunch of efficiency, dropping her energy vampire. And then there is also the nuke build that you can do with her, which is marked for death and energy vampire, which you just mark for death, and then energy vampire that target, and that target explodes and does a shit ton of damage and kills everything in like a 15-meter radius. But it's kind of weird to use, and I mean it is true damage, like percent health damage. But no, this Link Jade Stars build never worked, unfortunately. And I was really excited for it, but it didn't work. This last one was the one I was most excited to talk about, and it's because the idea behind it is like really interesting for the weirdest reasons. So it's Grendel. We're talking about Grendel today. So you know how he sucks enemies up into his stomach and then spits them out? I had this idea in my head that what if the target could have a thing on them? Like if I put like a, I don't know, like an AoE field on a specific enemy, suck them up, and then spit them down a hallway. Will that kill every enemy down the hallway when the target dies? Or you know, just does AoE damage? So I'm like, okay, well, what's the best way to do that? What can we do with, what can we, oh, Tesla Nervos. I got to thinking, I was like, oh, we could just throw Tesla Nervos on him, over nourished or something. It was a really high efficiency build, so it's whatever. Don't worry, it's over nourished. I know it shouldn't be, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then what we would do is we would throw Tesla Nervos at an enemy, suck that enemy into our stomach. It would apply the Tesla Nervos to that enemy, so it would continue. And then you would spit it down a hallway, and the enemy would explode, do enough damage, kill themselves because they would die off of his forced stomach acid, and then they would explode in Tesla Nervos, which would put it in the right spot just to do enough damage, except Grendel deletes the Tesla Nervos when he sucks the enemy into his stomach. So the ability just turns off. It just turns off. It's, yeah. Man, how cool would that have been, right? just to suck up a guy with a Tesla Nervos, shoot them down a hallway, and then they explode in electricity, doing double % damage, and it would just be sick. Unfortunately, it never worked. It straight up deletes the Tesla Nervos. In fact, it deletes it so bad that the it normally gets like 2 or 3 attempts at killing things. It'll attach itself and it lasts a certain amount of time. No, it completely ignores that mechanic entirely and just sucks them up and deletes the Tesla Nervos. It's like the Tesla Nervos was never cast. It's really interesting as an idea, but it just never worked. If you want to do just like a normal nuke Grendel build, nowadays persistence is fantastic on him. And this also gives me the opportunity to talk about this really interesting Jade Stars build with him. I know I've been talking about Jade Stars for a lot, to be fair, but this one is really neat because the idea is that when you suck enemies up, by the way, it's the same idea as the Tesla Nervos. It's the same idea. It's the same one. It does it with Jade Stars. Anyway, so you go like max range. And then enemies inside of your stomach take a tick of damage anytime, or like basically every second. But damage is what triggers Jade Stars. So if you're pulling enemies into your stomach and triggering Jade Stars on the enemies inside your stomach, if you have max range, you have a 10-meter AoE field around you that is applying heat dots, which is kind of sick. So if you build max strength, as high strength as possible, as high range as possible, you keep your nourish so that you have enough energy, and then you run Archon Continuity, Vitality, that kind of stuff. You don't even need Archon Continuity, but just, you know what I mean. And then you just run like Umbral Fiber for enough armor without being in the 4 without having enemies in your stomach. Now you can drop Umbral Fiber if you want, but I kind of like it, so I kept it. But the whole thing is like you go into a ball, you suck enemies up, your Jade Stars is active, and then you run through the map, and Jade Stars is constantly triggering on the enemies inside your stomach, so it's applying just a shit ton of heat dots to every enemy nearby, and it does a ton of damage. It's actually kind of fun, but unfortunately, yeah, the Tesla Nervos one never worked. And that's disappointing to me, but you know, it's okay, because like it would have been really cool to just suck the enemy into your stomach and then nourish them to death, and then they explode and kill every enemy in the radius of Tesla Bank. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I did want to bring up a couple things just to quickly talk about some stuff that happened on the channel in the last couple of days, because there's some stuff that happened. This will be coming out about 8 days after this happened, but I got a community guidelines strike on my channel for sexual content. No, it wasn't the nipple tassels. No, it wasn't the butts. It wasn't anything. No, it was Vina's moan. Yeah. So if you've noticed or you will notice in the next couple of months here, the 90 days specifically, I'll be much more careful about just everything. I'm going to be censoring words that just don't make sense to censor, in my opinion, but they're all going to be censored, and it kind of sucks, but here we are. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be going and coming back way harder, and there's gonna be videos. I've got 13 shorts as of recording this video, and I want to have 21 before I even come back. And then I want to have another 2 more long form videos similar to this one, hopefully in the good style that I'm trying to push. The editing is different than I used to do, and it is more. It's a lot more effort, but I like it more. So I'm hoping that I can upkeep that kind of effort and upkeep that kind of work and all that. But again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and like and subscribe. That's the best you can do. I appreciate it. If you really want to support me, like, subscribe, share with your friends, that kind of stuff. But anyways, hopefully you have a good one, and I will see you later. Bye bye.